I'm gonna react that I didn't feel safe at home or school. Right here.
Cleaning your shower doesn't get any easier than wet and forget shower. Spray it today, rinse it tomorrow. It's that easy.
I had an older sister and a younger brother. Every time my sister or my brother did activities and I wanted to join in, I was always either too old or too young, because being a middle child can sometimes be like that. Although I love my mom very much and I knew she cared about
I'm the middle child.
me, just at times I felt like she loved me a lot less than the other two. My parents divorced. My mother ended up meeting a new person who didn't like me, my brother, very much. If we didn't do what he wanted, he would hit us very hard. One time he hit me so hard that I got knocked out. He was like this for a few years. It got to the point where I had to actually end up calling the police on him. But the police believed him because apparently I'm a child and I was just doing childish and making excuses. It just sucks as a child sometimes when you're not believed because of your age. When I was at school, things weren't easy either. Because of what was going on at home, I had really low self-esteem and people would bully me for being scared and by myself. For an entire year, I had no friends at school. I used to sit by a tree by myself and eat my lunch. People would point and laugh at me and call me a loner and a loser. And I didn't know how to react to that. I just sat there and cried. So I didn't feel safe anywhere. When I went home, it was hell. When I went to school, it was hell. I felt like I had nothing. Nothing whatsoever. After time, the thing with my stepdad, I saw him about to hit my brother. I stepped in the way and told him, no, you can't do that. Although this got me into even more of a situation that I couldn't get out of, and he ended up hitting me really hard that day. But I'm just glad it wasn't my brother and it was me instead. He did apologize in the end for everything that he did, but shouldn't have happened, but still, it's an apology. Throughout my life, I'd just been kind of an outcast. Nobody really liked me. But I just kept trying, and I kept trying and pushing myself to be out there and be more confident. And to a point where somebody actually ended up approaching me and started talking to me. And this was the first proper friend I ever had. He introduced me to more people, and I ended up getting more and more friends and becoming, quote-unquotation mark, a popular kid. And people actually started to like me, and I felt so much more confident about myself and happier. Things were starting to go well in my life. Stuff at home had been starting to get better. Been getting along better with my brother and my sister. My mom had been treating me more evenly and exactly the same as the others. I felt like I was part of the family again. I just kept staying strong in the inside, and I didn't let all this completely take me down. Although at times I felt so defenseless and worthless, I was able to push myself to a point where I was able to get myself out there and be myself. And where I am today is very confident. I'm happy with myself and I'm happy with who I am.
Is this little bloody person?
Sometimes I wonder about my little sister. This one time, my mom had asked me to babysit her, so my little sister and I were sitting on the couch, and we were watching a movie. My sister told me she was hungry, and she was like 2 at the time, so she just said chopped words like, hungry, hungry. And so I went into the kitchen to make dinner, and then all of a sudden I just hear her scream, a blood-curdling scream. So I drop everything, I run into the living room, and I'm all like, what's wrong, ready to square up with someone trying to hurt my sister. She just looks at me with this psychotic little grin, and then she's like, I got you. 2 years old, they usually just say little chopped sentences, but she said that so clearly. I was a little caught off guard, and I had just watched some scary movie about this little kid being possessed, so I was a little bit like, what's going on? And I just went back in to finish cooking dinner. Well, then she just walks into the kitchen and she said, Danny, and I turned around like, what? She said, there's a man in the hallway. I had never been so scared in my life. I just froze. Like, it was like time slowed down. I ended up just slowly walking into the hallway with a butter knife, because that's all I had. There's no one there. Now, I don't know why I'm believing my little sister, but I'm kind of paranoid at this point, because, I've heard stories about how little kids see ghosts and stuff like that.
But
I was playing with her, and all of a sudden she stopped dead in her tracks and said, baby, on the wall. I just was like, okay, whatever. was about 3 a.m. and I was studying a little bit late, and I heard her crying. I went into her room, and then she said, "The man in the closet." And I did not open the closet because I've watched enough scary movies to know that, like, you only do that if you have a death wish. So I just kind of grabbed my sister. I'm like, okay, how about you sleep in my room tonight? She's like, I want to stay with the man. She is 2. These were the only times she speaks, like, clearly. When she's saying something weird like that, stay with the man. And my parents, they think it's just normal 2-year-old stuff, but one time last week, we were watching Trolls. When they were, put the trolls in, like, the pots and stuff, she just started laughing sadistically. I have never heard such a psychotic and malicious laugh come from a toddler. And then, so spoiler alert, when the trolls escaped and everyone was happy, she just looked so disappointed. I don't know what's up with my sister, but I still love her, though.
That's cute. Well,
Oh my god, we totally jumped out the
I
cliff.
guess only one more.
Oh,
Okay, yeah.
Opening night jitters. We take a deep breath and stand together.
Oh my god, an ad. Oh.
Courage. We have a fragrance for that.
There.
Me and my cousin were at my grandma's house, and we just got back from the craft store. We started doing our crafts. It was sunny out. The sky looked like there were barely any clouds there. And then all of a sudden, we hear this big beep coming from my grandma's phone. And then I run over there, and I was like, what is that? What's going on? And then she said, there's a tornado warning. Get in the basement now. And then I internally have a mental breakdown. Like, I'm freaking out. And then all of a sudden, it starts getting really windy. So we went downstairs. You could hear the rain just coming down. It was so loud outside. I all of a sudden just start crying. So my cousin is sort of like, it didn't really settle in yet, but my first thought was like, I was gonna die. So then my grandma said, okay, how about we pray? So we sat in a circle and we started praying, like, I hope nothing happens. And inside my mind, I'm in like overdrive. I'm thinking of all the bad things that can happen, not thinking positive. There's a small window and the sky just turns green out of nowhere. And then I start calming down, but that's when my cousin starts freaking out. She's running around, she's thinking, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And then I'm now the one who's reassuring her and saying, it's gonna be okay, we're gonna live through this. And then the power goes out.
Dun, dun,
And I
dun.
scream, like full-on horror scream. So then my cousin starts crying, and we're both crying. We're down there a few minutes, like huddled in a ball on the floor. Once it sort of calms down, my grandpa decides, okay, I'm going to go upstairs and watch the tornado. And my grandma says, John, no, don't go up there. But he goes up there, he watches it for a few minutes, and it starts to die down. And then my cousin asks, can we go up there? And my grandma says, yeah, sure. So we all go up there, and it turns out there was no tornado, but we were still without power. A lot of our family members were wondering, like, what happened? Because they heard about it. My grandma's phone was at 6%. Mine was dead. My cousin didn't have a phone, and my grandpa's was not working. So we only had a 6% phone. I was trying to tell everyone, yeah, I'm okay. And we had no power, and it was getting dark out. So we had this old, like, antique kerosene lamp that we were using, and we had some candles and flashlights, and the power was out for 3 days, and I think that tornado experience helped build me up.
Yeah, well, you had a nice, I guess this is a nice video. Bye.